All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back here this Tuesday afternoon, October 4th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, this time of the day, welcome on back for our afternoon meeting. Got a fresh bottle of water right in front of me. Great to see that. Great to see Andre and Chuck and Mark and Henry and Leda, all of us inside the live trading room. Nina, Dan, Brian, all included. Perfect. Great to see all of us there. Great to see all of us back on social media, Facebook Live or YouTube. So, let's talk about this morning, folks. Ended up having a nice squeeze up once again within the market, so that's lovely to see. And I know a bunch of stocks ended up performing pretty nicely. This top stock being one of them, still holding relatively near the highs. What I'll do right away is at least just put this stock on our main watch list for this afternoon. We'll talk all about this stock tops here in a moment. But we came off the phase 3 stock course early this morning. And for myself, I took a few strings of losses in a row. It was not a nice morning for me. And I'll explain why. So we'll get to this tops trade here in just a moment. But, hey, we talked about this to a great degree earlier today in Traders Talk, our weekly Q&A workshop that was conducted right inside the Cyber Group room earlier this morning. But this stock, AERC, we have seen make incredible moves in the past. So why can't this pop higher? Why can't this make a fraction of the type of run that it made for us back in late May, early June? Well, it's doing that right now, right? God bless. It's up 65%. But from prime time trading, from the market open, like this is our best time to be actively looking for that bigger squeeze, that bigger pop. Man, this just like grinded on up the whole morning. This was like making the slower trot up where I was expecting a lot more lively, volatile of a pop. So every time I jumped into this trade, I would lose profit. I would lose the unrealized profit I was up because I would look for more. Or otherwise, I jump in, right place, just wrong time. So it kept on moving up without me up until the afternoon, that is. So this ended up beginning to perch back up and over 450. There were two big levels to follow on this trade from the morning, from the phase 3 stock course from this morning. 450 and 460. So even as it was breaking higher above 460 in the morning, I was looking for this range of resistance here to be a range of support. So ended up trying to test high of the day, but failed to pop higher and came back down. But I've had my eye on those two price levels since to act as a range of a level. So as it broke back above 450, I ended up jumping in from a little bit earlier across the afternoon. I survived a little shake here as I held through. And then finally, if it's not going to break any lower, maybe there is a chance. And I say it that way because, well, it's easy to say it popped afterwards. But once it did break the high here of 460, and I was in from 452, it made it much easier at that point for me to hold on at least up to 5. At least up to 5. Now, since after I got out under 5, I was scalping it. Probably broke even since that point, maybe up a few cents. I took like a couple 4-cent gains. I lost a couple times, a -2, a break even. But with saying that, though, it's still pushing up pretty nicely. So right now, the AERC, I'll definitely put back on our list. Hopefully, this becomes a lot more volatile, lively of a trade. This was really choppy across the majority of the day. And even here, as it's breaking higher prior to this last spike up, it was chopping around again. You don't want to see that, especially for a former runner that went from like 3 up to 23 in a few days. So, I'm not expecting this to be a swing trade. This is more of a day trade type of call out. So sooner rather than later, I'd love to see this, continue. All right, so we had the AERC. I did not get my hands on this SNTI trade. I was a little upset by that because this ended up making a strong move up during class, and so strong to the point where it right away broke above key resistance off of $3.28. So at that point, personally, I was expecting more of a false breakout. It ended up popping above the level, but it held above the level after, held above there briefly after, and ended up leading to another run after that. Man, this one had a lot of life to it here. And for a stock that pumped day over, like really 4 or 5 days in a row, there's another stock we'll jump to in a moment that looked like this from the morning. When is it going to pull back? When is it going to begin to go the other way? So most recently, one of us had called it out, pushing back up, and it was. But 410 on my chart right there, 410 is a key level to watch now for this afternoon. It was from the early afternoon. A lot of selling came into that level from earlier. I'll tell you, it hasn't totally broken lower just yet. Maybe there's a chance it could hold here, run back up by the end of this meeting. I'll come back to this SNTI definitely by the end of it, by the end of this meeting here. All right, but there was a stock that looked like this from the morning where, day over day over day, the stock was pumping up. When is it going to drop? Well, we found out the answer to that here on FNGR. I mean, really right out the gate after the market opened up. So you could see from the daily chart, this thing ended up leading to a huge squeeze from the beginning of last week all the way through. It was sub $1. It hit as high as like $10 nearly in the after hours last night. So we're not swing trading this, right? God bless anyone if they were able to swing trade and gamble like that, high risk. It's still high risk day trading this type of stock, especially the more it pumps up. So when the market opened up, this tanked. We had a good feeling that would happen, but provided minimal bounce opportunity. The only clean bounce area that we had was basically off the bottom at the whole number here off $5. Broke under, broke right back over. And that led to a pretty good trade at the time. I didn't take it myself there. I was a little late as it was running up towards like 515, 520, I recall. Would have made it for a nice trade. But right now, a little flat here. I think still pretty exhausted, not just from this move today, but from the past week and a half. So, if you're in from 5, there is still a chance, I should say, that could, potentially squeeze up a little bit more. But here at this stage where it's around 540, 543, I'm not fully confident about a clean level break from here and a squeeze up. So if you have a little cushion room to work with, that's one thing. But otherwise, let's see what else is out there, folks. Now we have the tops trade on our watch list already. Let's just jump back to that really quick. Still kind of perking up towards the 6 level. So this was called out earlier. Beautiful run, albeit lower volume initially as it ran from like 350, like up over 450, 5. But it was low volume at that point. So this stock has been a huge tease for us over the last week or two. You could see this day, a couple of them on the daily chart, these big volume spike days. You could see where they had the longer wicks where they popped up and pulled back. They were false breakout type of moves where they ended up dropping back off the following days. So, now it ended up making a much stronger pop to now where it's retesting resistance off of 6. The more times that it could retest this resistance, this blue line at $6, it should look to give you what you want. But again, though, this stock, I mean, not only from this past week, but for any of our longtime students of CTU, Leda, Grant, Kathleen, a few of us I just see here inside the chat board right now. Phil's here, Phil M. But, otherwise, this stock tops has been a teaser over the years. There was 1 week, like back in 2015, I recall, where this and all of these shipping tanker type of stocks, man, this one dries went from like $1 up to 125 within a couple of days' time. Insane, right? So just hearing that, you hope to try and see history repeat itself, but that's like striking, gold right there. That's like lightning striking. So how often is that type of pump really going to happen? Not really at all. So, that's where if this can make a fraction of the type of, pump it made for us back then, God bless. And it's starting to here. So we'll take this, at least at this point. We'll put this on our list, and see if it can make the re-break back above 6 coming up. All right, there we go. Leda inside our chat board saying rolling eyes. She's rolling her eyes right now at this top trade. Yeah, it's been a teaser for us for so long, right? Ever since that one day. All right, let's see what else we got, though, folks. SNTI, we talked about briefly already. Hey, markets are up, so, we'll see what's out there, at least across the afternoon on the gainer side. Brian says he's been in NCLH all day, which Brian, I saw your call outs on that. Let me take a look at that just coming up here before we hop over to the losers list. Yeah, NCLH sounds like a pretty good trade at this time of the day. I know you've been doing pretty nicely on it this afternoon. LITM, familiar name from last week, pushing up a little bit here. I like the trend. I really like this trend. It's hard to ignore this, right? It's on the way up. Iceberg currently on the ask right off the high of the day off 264. So there's your level. There's your trend right within our price range. Good spread, everything. Perfect. You know what's funny? We got tops, then we got top, TOP. I doubt this is going to be tradable. Just wanted to look at it more for comedic purposes. You'll get that every now and then, folks. You know, it's interesting. What was the one from this past week? ATXI? ATXI, right? It's one from this past week, right? You know, it's funny. You got AXTI number 7 on the losers list, and it's shortable. The reason I bring that up, it's just you always see these stocks with the same or very similar ticker to one another. You know, they're both on the gainer side one day, or one's on the gainers, one's on the losers. You get some funny stuff like that every now and then. All right, now let's see what else we have here across the gainers end. Got a couple of different names that I'm familiar with. KC, Chinese stock, but we did pretty well on that trade back from a week ago or so. AERC is on our list already. All right, so the KC trade, it's kind of moseying its way on up right now. LITM a lot stronger in relation to the high of the day. There's NCLH, Brian. Let me jump to that next. Stitch Fix not doing a whole lot right now, kind of just slow. NCLH, you could say a little slow too, but it's obviously performing really well across the day. So if you're in early like Brian was from the market open or shortly after, you're looking pretty good, right? Let's see if there's anything a little bit more volatile even that's pushing up pretty nicely. There we go. We'll take it. AMC. Where's Jeffrey M? We got AMC on our watch list today. I know he'll be happy. All right, so this is exactly what we're looking for, of course, this time of the day. Nice, beautiful push, getting a little bit sharper on the way up as it went up to 8, trying to re-break above 8 right now. I'd give it a little space from the 8 level here. I don't know if it's a meme stock type of pump day. Check out GameStop right now. GameStop up nearly 9%. Hasn't broken higher just yet, though. Not really trading a lot of volume per minute, so it's not really one of those, Reddit, Wall Street bet type of days just yet, at least. AMC getting things started, though, for right now. Bobby J, Bed Bath Beyond, breaking a new high at least. So I like that. We'll put AMC and Bed Bath Beyond both on our list here. All right, now we're building up a pretty good watch list right now, folks. And I'll tell you, there is one stock I'm in. I mean, if you've been following the chat board across the last hour and a half, you know that there's been mainly 2 stocks I've been watching. I mean, Chuck was calling out SNTI, so I gave him my thoughts on that on the 410 level. But it was the AERC, which we talked about. I'm not in this. I wish I could say I was. This is pushing up quite well here. But Mara, good old friend Mara. I am in Mara right now from the VWAP, right off 1245 as it broke back above the VWAP. There we go. This is becoming more of a favorite of mine, Lita, even more than Neo lately. But, Mara is holding its own. It's up 16+%. It'd be hard to not put this on our watch list now. All right, let's hop over to the loser side here. We're looking pretty good all around here, folks. You know what? I got out on this one, but it's pushing up here a little bit. Peloton looks a little slow, though, I'd say. No, it's holding right under the highs very well. This stock does have some short squeeze potential to it. Just took a huge hit, obviously, from the last God knows how long at this point. But, Peloton, just for as much as it dropped, I mean, we're not looking for this as a swing type of squeeze, more as a day trade type of squeeze, but it's near the highs. It's hard to not focus on this either. We'll throw Peloton back on our list. Brian says, took a 5-cent loss earlier on Riot, thought it would move better. Riot moves a little slower compared to Mara. That's the issue on it. So if you're looking for that, not super volatile type of move, but something that's a little bit easier on the eyes in terms of pace, Mara is usually the better bet between them, Brian. But they tend to trend relatively similar. It's just that, Mara, I guess, is stronger today in particular, but it has a little more kick to it in a good way. Michael saying Stitch Fix slow at the highs. That's like too slow for us, though. It's like trying to make a couple pennies on the trade there. All right, let me just jump to social media. I'll jump to Benzinga. I'll jump to my side list and see if there's anything else otherwise that we may have missed. PEGY. I feel like I need to fix my volume part of the scan. Maybe not. Wow, this thing is making a hell of a push. Look at this. It's up 52%. I don't know if this popped up on my gainer side here. I got it from Benzinga, so I'm sure it'll climb up there at some point. It's a real cheapie, so for as much as it's already moved, you'd like to wonder, when is it going to pull back? But currently, there's a 20,000 share order on the bid at 117, an even bigger one at 110. And that order had to have just been posted there in the last 2 or 3 minutes because this stock was below 110 at that point. So as soon as it broke back above that price, likely is when we ended up seeing this big 55,000 share order popping up. I don't know what this company does, but I like it. PEGY, why not? This thing looks beautiful right now. Don't really see any clear historical resistance, at least up until 189-ish. Don't hold your breath waiting for that, but, if the stars could truly align, that would be a home run. That would be like a grand slam, if anything. Jeez. Nice trade so far on this. The SNTI is trying to push back up, so that was on our side list. It's hard to not put this on our radar again at this point. Doing a good job getting at least back up to that 410. Looks good. The FNGR we're not going to follow. All right. Carol following up saying PEGY is an energy stock, and Mark discussing just the float and the number of outstanding shares to that. Yeah, a lot of these stocks that are below like $5, much more often than not, we should just expect them to be relatively low float or, small cap stocks. That makes them relatively dangerous on the swing side. You don't want to get stuck holding on to this right place, wrong time type of move. So, even same to be said here on SNTI, just because it's breaking above 410 here, not fully out of the woods just yet. So let's see this hold over 410 and then run off that price sooner than later. Lita asking, is Uber going anywhere? Let's take a look. Probably upward with the market. It is pushing up quite nicely, though, here. It really is. Take a look on the SPY altogether. SPY ended up bouncing under the VWAP, but broke back above it recently, and now it is beginning to move up off of it pretty nicely right now. So with that, you're likely to find some stocks that are going with the market at this stage. This may have locked my platform up. I hope not, but that Uber trade later looks pretty good. I'll put that in particular on our watch list. I don't want to build up too big of a list, at this point. So right now, I think that we're going to call it. We have a pretty good list as is, 10 stocks in total, folks. I'll post and tweet these out for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, for all of us inside the live trading room. Of course, you'll have Rich on the mic coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to jump onto a coaching call with one of our students at that time myself. I'll probably be following, already in Mara, but probably continue to follow Mara, Peloton, and probably that SNTI at least off that 410. That does look pretty good, at least for right now. All right, folks, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, keep in mind that Fausto will continue to be out this week. I'm going to shoot him a text later on today, just checking in with him. He had his big operation from this morning, so probably still a little groggy right now as he's just beginning to, get hold of things there. So I'm going to shoot him a text later on, check in with him, continue to send him a quick email, show him the love. But if you have any questions for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, send it over right to my email address, myself, josh@ctutrading.com. If you're interested in joining our live trading room, feel free to go right down to the link on the yellow banner below the stream right there to get yourself started. But for Andre, Leda, Carol, etc., I look forward to chatting with you folks just in a bit. Take care.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9. Do it today.